Viebrock, and I'm talking with Ron Gilmer, board member of Telluride AIDS Benefit. Ron is responsible, in part, he and his partner, for creating this event which now touches directly and indirectly thousands of lives. So, Ron, can you talk a little bit about how the story of you and Robert coming here, how he was supported by this community, and how the event began, and what it means?
Well, I met Robert in 1989 in Florida. He was a bartender at a gay bar down there. And I convinced him to come out to Colorado with me because I was changing my lifestyle and coming out to California to go to cooking school after doing oceanography for 25 years.
Right.
South Florida out to Colorado. And he was actually from Colorado. He's from a military family. His parents lived in Denver and his sisters lived in Denver. So he had some impetus to come out here. And we went out to San Francisco for 18 months and then came back to Telluride in the fall of 1991. He got involved with the theater and with the repertory group, which was pretty new then.
Yes,
1991.
it started in 91.
And he did a lot of stuff, and he got involved with Shirley Fortenberry with the kids' productions and did all these things and got just into his element. He was designing kids' costumes and all that sort of stuff. When I met him, I knew he was HIV positive. And at that time, West Cap, up in Grand Junction, was a office of a part-time nurse from the hospital, and that's all it was. And there was just nothing they could do. I mean, there were no drugs. There was AZT, which had almost killed everybody that had taken it. You needed some tests and things like that, and all that stuff was costing money. So a bunch of his friends, including Candy and, oh gosh, Susan Viebrock, I don't want to mention names, but there were so many people that did. Anne-Marie Cox, Lawrence Van Huey, Barbara Betts, all kinds of people got together and threw the first Telluride AIDS Benefit in 1994.
I remember, it was a street dance.
And it was a street dance, and they did a trash bag fashion show down Main Street of all these costumes that Robert had designed. And they had a little dinner at Susie Coit's house, and that was really the AIDS Benefit for the first time. And we decided it was best to give the monies to West Cap, because at that time there really wasn't much state or federal structure for these organizations to do AIDS stuff. It just was so new. And then, of course, with the advent of the drugs in 1995, 96, when people could really start thinking about a future.
Yes.
That sort of changed the whole dynamics of the whole thing, and people started living, and they weren't just dying, and all these sorts of things. So it's evolved a lot since 1994, I'll tell you.
The Telluride AIDS Benefit over the last, 15 years?
Those will be 16 this year.
Okay, but over the last 15 has raised almost $1.5 million, which you're now dispersing to 6 different beneficiaries, including internationally.
Yeah, there was a big deal when the drugs came in and the death rate went down. Yes, the death rate has gone down, but the infection rate has never gone down.
What do you attribute that to?
It's just, it's the stigma of the disease. AIDS is the perfect disease for any kind of taboo that people will never want to talk about. I think Jenny Frank really got it right when she made Soft Smoke back in 1995. When she said that self-esteem is the biggest deal with AIDS. I mean, people that just don't have enough self-esteem. And in the U.S. it is sort of a little bit of a gay disease, more than a lot of other things, but the black community is disproportionately affected, the Latino community is disproportionately affected, but globally, HIV, 2/3 of the infections are just from heterosexual sex.
Why should we in our little Wonder Bread town of ours still be on the alert, still care?
Well, I think that, we do a lot of outreach and education monies to other groups which go around the state, which is a wonderful thing because there are other areas that need these funds. There's very little funding for education still, and the last 8 years has been a complete disaster in this country as far as education about HIV goes. George Bush did a whole lot for Africa. He did a lot of things there, which was wonderful, but his domestic program really wasn't very effective with HIV. And I think we have kids in the school. We have a very transient community. A lot of people coming and going. A lot of partying going on. I mean, people about about a third of the people in the U.S. don't know that they have HIV, that are infected. So, I mean, if you're out there and you're having unsafe sex with anybody, whether you're straight or gay, I mean, you're at high risk for a transmission of this disease. So, I mean, we have to just be aware of that and make people aware every year. We have to come back and talk to people about it. And, you know, the community just does so much. And I think every time I give a check to somebody, to one of our beneficiaries, I say, this is from the heart of Telluride.
And your concern within this community is your concern without this community, mainly prevention education, so that kids, when they leave here and go out in the world, have the information they need to protect themselves.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to, you know, we work with these peer groups that, it's been a little slow to get going, but because it's so hard to get a school program to move to another school. We have the peer educators we do every other year who can go out to other schools and talk to the kids. But it's a very effective way of doing things. But with all the school scheduling and the events and things, it's really hard to get a lot of that to happen. We're working on it, and it has happened a little bit, but we're still hoping to get them to go to like other schools in the area and do actual peer education, which would be very good.
So just for closing thoughts, as we're approaching the big weekend of the auction and the fashion show, do you have any parting shots for that?
I don't know, I get all the anxiety and it's almost over with, I hope. But we have a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of great things. Everybody doing the thing again. It's just going to be another great local community event, and it's just, we're looking forward to it. Both shows are sold out, and we'll just see what it is. I always tell everybody it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.